G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Draw with Jazza. I'm Jazza and today we're going to be drawing Samus. I think it's pronounced Samus. I always used to call her Samus. See, that's the thing, I used to think it was a boy because the suit was so bulky. And then I saw the inside of the suit, in the Zero suit, the blue sexy skin tight thing, and then all of a sudden it wasn't a boy anymore. And that's what we're going to be drawing. We're going to be drawing Samus in her Zero suit. So to get started I'm going to be using this pencil. It's just a bit of a blue Derwent pencil, and sometimes when I'm drawing the construction lines to something I really like starting off with a coloured pencil just to kind of give a different dimension to the picture, and it also separates the darks and the greys of what eventually is the image to from each other, sorry, I should say. Anyways, so I'm starting off with the very basic construction work, just kind of outlining things like the head, torso position. It's very light in the video at the moment, so I hope you'll forgive that and be patient with that. I'm going to draw the body in a very twisted perspective, so I'm going to have the chest kind of pulled out facing up. That's the shoulder, back shoulder, and this is the chest, or the breasts, or the breasticles. And the middle line of the torso is going to be wrapping around to behind the body, and then the back of the body is going to be showing at the front. Now it's very blurry at the moment. Let's see if I can focus it. And I'm going to bring this front leg forward. If the leg is pulled forward, it flows into the whole leg. The butt flows into the whole leg. Whereas if it's bent back, the butt kind of tucks up under the leg there. The leg flows back. I'm going to get some foreshortening happening with the gun. Out like this. I don't know if doing it in blue was a mistake because it looks blurry, but it's not. And then have the front arm. So now that I've got the basics in, I'm going to use my pencil and I'm going to go over the image and start adding muscles to the bones, as it were. So I'm going to go through and start defining the silhouette and start wrapping things around each other. So I'm going to fast forward the process so you get a bit of an idea as to what it's like in a whole sort of process, and speed it up a bit so I don't bore you. So I've laid down the foundation here. We've got the basics going, and I've kind of followed the body construction lines with these sketchy pencil lines. Now there are a few things I want to kind of map out before I get to doing the line work. The first thing is the flow of the body, the motion of the body, which is going to be fairly easy to do with the suit that she's wearing, the Zero suit. Reason being is the Zero suit has lines throughout it which follow the straight line of the body, and then if the body is turned, those lines turn with it, so it helps convey that motion. So I've kind of got to look at the reference files I have set up here on my screen to see that the lines flow around the breast, kind of in the center but side of each one, and then it kind of comes around to the front like that. So just mapping out where the center of that line is, and then up here it kind of goes off diagonally and then back up. So I've got to try and make sure I'm following that, and then here it actually comes out again, and I'm going to have it follow the leg. Okay, so if front on, it actually goes on the side of the leg, but because this is the side of the leg, it conveys that the body is in that twisted pose. So we've got those lines in, that kind of helps convey that. Then of course we have the, what do you call it, gun thing, the sheath, not the sheath though, that's the sword, the holster, bam, holster. Okay, so we have the holster on this leg, 2 straps. It is somewhat Lara Crofty, isn't it? Someone in the live stream has been requesting Lara Croft. And so I'm kind of setting up where the line work's going to go. I'm not doing the refined stuff yet. I'll be getting to that soon. And then I'm going to map out the basics of this hand. And then we have the hair. Now the hair is going to be useful because I'm going to be able to use that to add that sense of motion. So Samus is turning rapidly and firing shots. And so I want to be able to convey that rapid motion. And it's hard to do so if she's not wearing a suit that has bits hanging from it. So I'm actually going to have hair kind of pulling around. Now she has very specific hair, doesn't she? So I'm using these reference images, and I know that she has a bit of a fringe, so I'm going to have to separate that. I liked the flow of that, but I'll have to get to that later. First of all, I'm going to have to draw the front fringe, and it's going to be following that motion. And then I'm going to have a front piece of hair come around in front like that. Okay, so then we have the hair kind of bunch up into the ponytail, which ponytails always kind of push straight out first before the motion applies to them, and then we apply the motion. So it's quite a long sort of ponytail, and we want to make sure we keep that feeling of motion. And overall, so far, I'm quite happy with the look of this. Now, I'm going to go through with the line work, and I'm going to make sure I keep it as refined and feminine as possible, focusing on things like the eyes and the mouth, and try and keep it, when I say keep it as feminine as possible, less is more. So the less lines you use, the better, and it'll end up looking if you put the lines in the right place. So I'll fast forward through the process, and I'll be focusing quite a lot on keeping the lines nice and simple and feminine. Alright, so I've done the basic line work, and I'm going to be adding some details next. Now, usually I like doing a thick outline, but I don't know if a Sharpie will be too thick. So I'm just going to check very quickly on a piece of paper if a 0.5 will be enough. Yeah, I think it will be. So I'm just going to use a 0.5 because I drew this with a 0.1. I'm just going to go through an outline and really kind of refine the silhouette, and I'm also going to work on some details, but I'll wait for some of the details until I've done the outline and see if I can get the silhouette to a place where I'm happy with it. So as you can see, I've finished a bit of an outline, and it really does kind of make the image pop a bit. Now, sometimes I'll use a Sharpie to do the outline, but because I'm going for a little more of an elegant look, I went with the 0.5 and added layers of lines. So for example, here I could kind of layer the 0.5 and just kind of add some line weight variation here, instead of just having one really big, bulky, thick line with the Sharpie. So now that I've got the lines and the silhouette and the basic picture to where I want it, I'm going to use the 0.1 again and add a whole bunch of detail throughout the piece. Now this is the kind of piece where the basic silhouette and the overall flow of the piece is suitable and done. So now I can go through and add more detail and make it as good as I can. So I'm basically done, and the last thing I want to do is I'm going to use this blue that I started off with and use it to do a one-tone sort of shadow. So I'm just going to kind of outline the areas I want to shade, and like this, I'm just going to fill it in. Now the reason I'm doing this is because the suit is blue and I don't want to have to spend all this time shading in the whole thing perfectly and all this stuff, but what I can do is just kind of outline areas that I want to shadow, and I can use that to quite simply add that. Now I'm going to reshape the boob a little bit because I don't like how it shapes up the top here. Anyways, yes, so using this blue, I'm going to go through and add a one-tone shadow, and you'll see by the end of it how much of a difference that will make. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I've finished drawing the picture to a place where I'm happy with it. As you can see, the blue shading makes quite a difference. It really makes the image pop, so you get that sort of cel-shaded feel, but you don't necessarily have to shade it with a grey pencil sort of thing. It gives it a bit of a flat look if you do that sometimes. So I did it with the blue because her suit is so blue, and I mean, I did her skin and hair with it anyway, but it doesn't matter. It kind of fits with that sort of sci-fi spacey feel. So I'm just going to sign it, and this one was requested by Ricky, so this is to Ricky, and I'm going to sign it. Ricky was in the live stream chat, so make sure if you want to join the live stream and make your request, you might be able to get me to live stream and draw a picture for you in the next Let's Draw video. The link is in the description as to where you can join the next draw session. I'm going to be changing from live stream to justin.tv. It tends to be less laggy. Anyways, thank you for joining me. I'm pretty happy with how this ended up, and until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you later.